BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Roth from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It's Wednesday, of course, right? It is random, and the random week that precedes a theme week, which is our Nightmare on Elm Street extravaganza, I guess you call it, something like to that effect. Anyways, so interestingly enough, for this week, which I'm kind of talking to you from the past. This is really the opening weekend of college football, and not week 0, but week 1. So, Georgia, my Bulldogs came out of the gate a little sluggish, but pulled away and, saw enough nice things. How about those Colorado Buffaloes under Deion Sanders beating TCU? Oh, man, that's got to hurt. Anyways, gotta love college football. But even more, maybe, gotta love horror, right? And so we are horror fans, right? And if you're plugged in here, then chances are pretty good you are. And we are definitely a unique crowd, a very important crowd who can express and do our love for horror cinema in ways that really no other fans of cinema really do or can. Well, I shouldn't say that. You got Dragon Con and, you got some conventions out there to do things. But overall, major, like horror, the horror genre is something really special. And the horror fans really do interact with it in a way that is it's hard to see anywhere else. One of those things is our love for not just for the films, but for the actors who drive those films. And so one night, my son actually surprised me one night and brought me home the steelbook case for the new Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the Robert Englund story. Runs 2 hours and 14, what was that, 14 minutes? Yeah, 2 hours and 14 minutes. It's the same makers of Leviathan, the story of Hellraiser, that incredible documentary. So it's pretty, it's somewhat exhaustive. It's Christopher Griffiths and Garris Smart both worked on this as directors. This is, of course, 22 documentary. This is, of course, week 517, if I didn't mention that. And there is a slew, I'm not going to mention them all, but there is an absolute slew of personalities who helped drive this documentary. Eli Roth, Lance Henriksen, Amanda Wyss, Linn, Shaye, Heather Langenkamp, Bill Moseley, Mick, Garris, Adam Green, Kane, Hodder, etc., etc., and of course the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Robert Englund. And so, I wasn't sure what to expect. I had heard a few good things about this, and if you know me well enough by now, I've said this on occasion. I don't do well late at night. Between work, my age, and everything else. It's for me to watch something. If I don't get through and I fall asleep, it's not because necessarily it's the thing I was watching. It's just because I'm old, man. I just can't do this stuff anymore. But lately, I have been experiencing the phenomenon of just being able to watch things in their entirety. And maybe that's a testament just to how good some of these things are. And this is one of them. Put this on. I remember putting this on around 10:30 at night. That may not seem really late to you. But for a 2 hour and 14-minute long documentary, not knowing exactly what you're going to get, I just assumed when I put it in, I was going to be out in 5 minutes and, wake up somewhere in the middle or towards the end. That was not the case. This thing held me, man, right from the start to the very end. It held me. I'm not going to call it the greatest documentary ever, but it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. I was first introduced to Robert Englund when I was 14, man. The TV spots for Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. I saw that movie, man, on the big screen in the theater. In fact, I saw it. I was visiting my grandma and grandpa, and saw the TV spots for like the last final time, and I'm just like begged my way to get dropped off at a theater. But I think school must have been going on at the time, and so there was nobody in that theater. It was a matinee. It was during the week, I would assume during the week, and I was lucky enough to catch like a 12 o'clock matinee, and I literally was the only one in that theater. And that began my love affair with Robert Englund, but really Freddy Krueger. But as it is remarked in this documentary, I think it's Adam Green who says, it's not that we love Freddy as much as that we love Robert Englund. And Robert Englund ought to really be part of the thrust of this documentary, is the thought that he ought to really be put on the pantheon of some of the great horror icons, or just acting icons. Whomever you may be talking about. And so it really is it works to really show his life from a young kid, his love into acting, and from the stage to from the theater stage to his connections with the tight-knit group of people, and eventually opportunities will open up in film for him, and then of course will just drive him to that to the pinnacle of what will be his opportunity to become Freddy Krueger. And then, I'm not going to go on that long, but I remember he does give a little bit of an interesting insight there. What kind of drove his motivation was seeing the other actresses, be it, what's his name? Heather Langenkamp and her boyfriend there, Johnny Depp. Gee, God, where's my brain right now? And you're just seeing them, have the easy way out in terms of just getting prepped makeup and stuff. And here he is for hours, man, just getting dealt with. Back then, it wasn't the most pleasant. I'm sure it still isn't, but the most pleasant thing in the world, with the glue and the prosthetics and everything. And he really kind of got upset. But he internalized it and then used it in a way that drove his character, which really, of course, made him ultimately stand out, or at least be considered one of the greats. Of course, if you think of the big three, probably Michael, Jason, Freddy. Got to throw a Leatherface in there, and of course Pinhead and a few others. And that reminds me, there's a few docs on here that are mini docs within the doc that are pretty cool. One of them is just simply entitled Horror Icons. Kane Hodder's in there. Doug Bradley, of course, Pinhead, and Bill Moseley talks about how it is that he got into to meet Tobe Hooper, ultimately get his part as Chop Top, and with the Texas Chainsaw Manicure that he wrote, and short film. It's just a lot of neat little things. The documentary itself, Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, is I just don't really recall it dragging or anything. I really got into it. I don't know, maybe it just hit the right groove for me, and I just fell right in as the needle in a piece of good vinyl does. I just fell right in and just kind of soaked it up, and it was really neat. Just getting a much broader view, understanding of who this guy really is. And I tell you, watching this, it does make me really want to get into my collection of his Phantom of the Opera. I really do want to get that. There was a little bit of, there's a little bit of take on a lot of his filmography. Nightmare on Elm Street is just a piece of it that much of his life revolves around, of course. And then how he come to terms with the character and the franchise, and really, and that was his main. And I guess the only other thing I'll add is, which was interesting, I'm just having thoughts sort of come to me as I think. He, his life, the interesting bookend to this documentary is his life begins with a lot of people around him who filled him with positive encouragement that helped just drive his confidence level. And ultimately, in the end, towards the latter part of his career, is one of where he is the one encouraging independent filmmakers, actors, directors, whatever. He's being a positive force, man, and in all the independent films that he's doing of late, which is really, really kind of cool. So he's had a real positive impact. He's had positive impacts laid into him, and now he's giving it back, which is really kind of cool. Not much to the steel case, of course, just the blue. I think it's a blue, or is it a DVD? I can't even remember. It's a Blu-ray. No book or anything like that. It's just the single disc. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's really good. really good. I was pretty impressed with the scope and all the people that they brought in to comment and talk Robert Englund in his career. It's really pretty cool. I won't go much more into it, but be on the lookout for theme weeks coming. It is our Nightmare on Elm Street theme week. Hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all that you do for us in BodyBags and perhaps individually as you look at our individual channels, our individual work. Really appreciate it. That can't be said enough. You guys, gentlemen and gals and gentlemen and just everyone out there who is plugged in and supports us, I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And as we roll on to the next week, always end these things off with Go Bills.